let me tell you something. I have been pissed off many of times to find out a TV show that I liked, that I would even damn near say loved, got canceled. Because for whatever reason. Now as I'm going through my head, my Rolodex in my head, trying to think about those TV shows, I can't really think of one off the cuff. But I know there have been TV shows that I've just said, why was it canceled? It was so good. Oh, you know what? You know what's the first three that come to my mind are dating shows. There was this dating show on ABC called Dating in the Dark. And Dating in the Dark was this social experiment where you had 3 women and 3 men. And they would go into a room that was pitch black, so that you couldn't see how they looked or nothing. You couldn't see how attractive they were or weren't. And you get to know them, by their personality, basically. And this was a summer show, but it came on, I believe, 2, maybe even 3 summers. 2, maybe 3 summers on ABC, and it was so good, and it was perfect summer stuff, and it was just, and I loved it because it proved what I've always said, that looks matter no matter what. There were rarely. Well, first off, the people on the show, they weren't ugly, right? You never had really an ugly person. There might have been a couple of heavier set people, but I don't think there weren't really any ugly people. Now, there were people where somebody didn't find somebody attractive, yes, but again, rarely did somebody pick somebody that they liked, not find them physically attractive, but stay with them because they like their personality. Looks matter, and they always have, and they always will. And that was the perfect show for that. I loved that show. And then, speaking of another dating show, how about Blind Date? You remember Blind Date with good old Roger Lodge and all those things? Now I know, that went on for years, but that should be a staple right now. With all the stuff that goes on in this world, this should be right now. And it should be going on right now. This should be happening. This should be such a great, Blind Date should be right now. It really should be. I'm doing this on YouTube. This is some of the things that I think maybe YouTube should think about doing, right? I think YouTube should think about doing game shows and bringing back, old school dating reality shows and dating shows like Blind Date. That would be awesome. And the third one is the most recent one. It was called Dating Naked, and it was a show on VH1. The first season was it was the first season. We decided the first season. It was 3 seasons. The first season was a season where what they did was they would have daters, and they would date naked. They would take the clothes off. If you've seen it, right, on MTV, they have a thing called Undressed, and I've actually got 4 things in my DVR that I need to watch and check it out, check it out, see how it is. But it's kind of like this. It was different. Dating Naked is now Undressed, and well, not Undressed, but whatever. But Dating Naked was the show where you take off your clothes and date. In the first season, it was really different people. They decided to change it up in the second season, and in the second season what they decided to do was decided to have a steady man and a steady woman, and they would date naked for in an episode term each week. Each week there would be a new guy or a new girl for them to choose to date naked, right? And it was like that. The second season, like that on the third season, and it was a great show. It kind of pissed me off because the second season there was a girl on there that was, the guy's name was Chris, and he was obviously just so into this chick, right? So into this chick, and she had a real nice round ass, right? And she was and she was kind of whatever. I guess she turned off a lot of the other girls, especially the girl that was in the house who kind of liked Chris. And then that girl started to talk to him and say, put him down for liking her. And then he threw her away, basically dumped her for him, right? Dumped her for he dumped her for this other one. That was a steady girl, and then she didn't pick him and left him. And then the third season, it was kind of like that again. Again, there was a girl on there, Michelle. Apparently she's been on like Ballers and other things like that. You follow her on Twitter. She followed me for a while. Actually, a couple of the dating naked girls from season 3 followed me. I think Michelle followed me. Jen at What Up Jen, she followed me, and then there was I think there was one other girl that followed me for a little bit. Yeah, and then I always get likes and retweets from one of the redhead girls that's on there, Sarah Lynn. Yeah, but Michelle, she was on there, and the guy David was into her and everything like that. And then the girl that he was, doing with me was Natalie, and she did the same thing, put him down for being with this other girl, and didn't think this girl was, but this one kind of had a happy ending, because even though he went and turned down Michelle, he went ahead and he got Natalie. Natalie got with him, and I don't know if they're still together or not, like that, but whatever. But so but it was great television, and it needs to be back on there. Like I said, it's kind of down back on the air with MTV, and it's on the show called Undressed. But I want the dating naked in VH1 show. That's what I want. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is because List 25 came out with the 25 best TV shows that were canceled too early. And from some of the things I saw, I think there's gonna be one of the shows I think will be Veronica Mars. And I was not a Veronica Mars person, but I know that people like that show so much that they actually made a movie about it. So, and Kristen Bell is a very attractive young woman as well. So let's go ahead. Let's check this out. Another great video from List 25. Let's see the 25 best TV shows that were canceled way too early.
Can you name a TV show that was canceled way too early? Some TV shows are immediately embraced by the masses for the magic that they are, and run for 5 seasons or more, being allowed to complete their story arcs. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Supernatural, How I Met Your Mother, etc. And then there are shows that are well made and clever, yet get pulled from the air prematurely. Sometimes it's due to a lack of ratings. Sometimes a network sets them up to fail. I'm looking at you, Fox. I'm Mike with List 25, and here's a list of 25 of the best TV shows that were canceled too early. 25. Firefly. Firefly was a pretty clever show about cowboys in space. With nifty one-liners and good character development, Firefly could have been the next Buffy, but it fell prey to Fox changing its schedule around sports and airing episodes out of order. Not sure what you thought would happen there, Fox. 24. Pushing Daisies. Pushing Daisies was a show about Ned, played by Lee Pace, who made pies, and also could bring dead things back to life by touching them. If he touched them again, they would die and stay dead. He brought back a girl, and fell in love with her. Whoops. It was heartwarming, clever, and quaint, and super saturated with dreamlike color, so of course it was cancelled. It's worth watching, if only for Lee Pace's eyebrows, and Christian Chenoweth's everything. What killed this amazing show? Basically the writer's strike. Thanks, guys.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and it won 7 Emmys. It's so good. 23. My So-Called Life. This was a show about a 15-year-old girl dealing with being 15. Young Claire Danes and Jared Leto are amazing, and if you've ever missed the 90s, a few episodes will satisfy that nostalgic craving. 22. About a Boy. About a Boy was a show based on the movie starring Hugh Grant, which was based on a book of the same name, which was a reference to a Nirvana song. The show starred David Walton as a songwriter/playboy and Minnie Driver as the single mother who moves in next door with her son. 21. Dead Like Me. Dead Like Me was about a girl who died and became a reaper. The show dealt with death via comedy, and it did so well that 5 years after cancellation, there was a direct-to-DVD movie made for fans to tie up loose ends. 20. Veronica Mars. This TV show was so popular among fans that a Kickstarter was launched to raise funds for a movie, and the goal was met within 10 hours. Set in a fictional town in California, the show starred Kristen Bell and followed the life of Veronica through high school and college as she worked as a private investigator. The Veronica Mars movie was released in 2014. 19. The Brady Brides. This was exactly what it sounded like. Marcia and Jan grew up and got married, but were too poor to each afford their own house, so Marcia, Jan, and their husbands lived together. Wacky hijinks ensued. It was awful, but it was the kind of nostalgic awful you wanted more of. Fuller House.
Fuller House.
Sorry.
Oh,
18. Selfie. Selfie was a newer spin on the classic My Fair Lady tale, and it had some majorly talented star power, Karen Gillan and Cho, but ultimately suffered from, well, a really terrible name that failed to inspire any interest whatsoever. 17. Witches of East End. Witches of East End was a show about beautiful, powerful, dark-haired women who had a bunch of family drama and also did magic. It was totally addictive and left us way too soon. 16. WONDERFALLS. Apparently, casting Lee Pace in a show created by Brian Fuller unleashes a curse. What curse, you ask? That curse is that there will be an amazing show that is a bit too intelligent or weird for the masses, and thus will end way too soon. Such was the case with Pushing Daisies, and such was the case with its predecessor, WonderFalls. While Pace only had a supporting role, Caroline Daverness starred as a sarcastic, frustrated 20-something girl who uses her Ivy League degree to work in a souvenir shop in Niagara Falls. Then, fake, plastic, animals start talking to her. 15. Deadwood. Deadwood was an HBO show that was cancelled as it was about to go into production for its 4th season. It left a lot of loose ends hanging. Fans of the Western had hoped that those ends would be tied up in 1 or 2 made-for-TV movies, but those dreams never came to fruition. 14. Moonlight. This show was a campy vampire soap opera-esque primetime mystery at its greatest. Sadly, it wasn't appreciated for what it was. A show about a sexy vampire private detective and the cute blonde he falls for under the moonlight in LA. It was cancelled, but somehow we got like 16 Twilight movies, and those vampires hated themselves, and sparkled. Thanks, Hollywood. 13. V was a remake, sort of. In the mid-1980s, there were 2 miniseries and a short-lived show. In 2009, the new show was an attempt to take that story, Earth's first meeting with extraterrestrials who are super advanced and come in peace, but shock, not really, and remake it. It worked for 2 seasons, and then was canceled due to low ratings. 12. Terra Nova. Terra Nova was about time travel and dinosaurs, and I'm still not quite sure how it all ended up going so very, very wrong. Yeah, I am. It did cost a fortune to make. Definitely a situation where if a show had been given another season to really find its groove, it could have been something truly special. 11. Undeclared. Undeclared was a show brought to us by Judd Apatow, who also brought us Freaks and Geeks. The show was about college freshmen and the recently divorced dad of one who decides to hang out with them. It received much critical acclaim, but suffered from poor ratings. 10. Better Off Ted. This was a show in the same vein as The Office, but darker and definitely a sitcom as opposed to a documentary. It was hilarious, particularly to those who have survived the grind of corporate America. Worth watching for Portia de Rossi alone. 9. Terriers. Terriers somehow managed to be one of the lowest rated show in FX's history. However, it received a Metascore of 75 and got 94% on the tomato meter at Rotten Tomatoes. What that basically means is that nearly everyone who saw the show loved it, just not a lot of people saw it. A former cop/recovering alcoholic and his ex-con best friend start up an unlicensed detective agency and generally attempt to avoid other adult responsibilities. 8. Arrested Development. Arrested Development was canceled after just 3 seasons, yet retains one of the biggest cult followings of any modern TV show. Seriously, the fans rival Firefly's fans. It was brought back in 2013 for a 4th season via the magic of Netflix. The original run of the show won 6 Primetime Emmys and a Golden Globe. After the 4th season on Netflix, there was supposedly going to be a film, or a 5th season, or both. But neither have come to fruition, so who knows. 7. Jericho. Jericho was a show about what happens to people in a small town after nuclear war devastates most of the US. It was initially canceled after the 1st season due to low ratings, but there was such an uproar from fans that the network reluctantly made a 2nd season of only 7 episodes that premiered in early 2008. The story now lives on in comic book form. 6. Revolution. Revolution was brought to us by the same mind that gave us Supernatural, Eric Kripke, along with J.J. Abrams. The show is about a family trying to survive in a world post-electricity. 15 years prior, there was a great permanent blackout. The people of Earth were, by and large, not prepared to return to a pre-industrial revolution way of life. 5. Southland. Southland was a cop drama about a rookie and his experienced partner in LA. It was killed by NBC after 1 season, but resurrected on TNT for another 4. Sometimes, when the big networks don't get magical ratings overnight, they pull the plug on some really good shows. Their loss. 4. The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien.
Wow.
This Tonight Show was full of drama from the start, and it was all off screen. O'Brien had been doing Late Night with Conan O'Brien for over a decade and a half, and Jay Leno had been doing The Tonight Show, which aired an hour earlier. Leno attempted to move on to Bigger and Better Things, so O'Brien took over. Then, when Bigger and Better Things didn't pan out for Leno, O'Brien was sent packing, and Leno was given back his spot. That is, until The Tonight Show was taken over by Jimmy Fallon in 2014. Comedy is subjective. Some people preferred O'Brien, some Leno, but most people can agree that O'Brien was treated quite poorly by the network. It's worth noting that O'Brien's version of The Tonight Show got 4 Emmy nominations in its 7-month run. 3. Star Trek. This was the original series about cowboys in space. Sadly, it only lasted 3 seasons. 11 movies and 5 other longer-running series later, I'm thinking the studio made the wrong call here. In case you haven't heard, there's another Star Trek series coming in September 2017, Star Trek Discovery. 2. Futurama. Futurama follows Philip J. Fry, a pizza delivery boy who finds himself cryogenically frozen on New Year's Eve 1999, only to wake up in the 31st century where he becomes a delivery boy. The show is funny, wickedly clever, and heart-wrenching. When was the last time an adult half-hour cartoon show made you cry? Just watch the episode Jurassic Park. Honestly, I'm hoping that Netflix picks it up because there will never be enough Futurama. Even in 2016, the first season is still eerily relevant. 1. Freaks and Geeks. Freaks and Geeks was a show about high school misfits in the 1980s. One sibling was a freak, the other was a geek. It boasted a cast of actors that would later become household names: John Francis Daly, James Franco, Seth Rogen, and Jason Segel, yet was canceled after only 12 episodes aired, though 18 had been filmed. So, what was your favorite TV show that was canceled prematurely? Let us know in the comments below. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the bottom right so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 3 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.
Oh yes. Okay, so when they talked about the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, that and Tonight Show with Conan and Brian, excuse me, that made me think about when Conan went to TBS. George Lopez was there, and TBS canceled the George Lopez talk show. That they should not have done that. They should have kept George Lopez there, and they could have had the 1-2 combo of Conan O'Brien and George Lopez. They really should have did that, but they canceled it for some reason, and they stick. And listen, I'm not saying that it's anything like that. They Conan O'Brien's been on for what now? Get that be almost like 6-7 years, right? Since he took over. So my alarm clock. So yeah, it's it is what it is, but here's mine. And here it made me think about it, and I think this might be my number one. The Cape. If you remember, it had to be around 2010, 2011, around there. NBC on Monday nights, right? Oh, and Chuck. That's a good one. Chuck, the Monday night double header. It was the Cape and it was Chuck. And Chuck was good. If y'all remember, Chuck starred Zachary Levi and that smoking hot blonde Yvonne whatever her name is. I'm not gonna miss it, but remember, Chuck was able to download all this information into his brain, and then he became like this crime fighting dude, and then he became like this master ninja and everything like that. And when something would snap, he could able to do it kung fu, and then he'd do it. Chuck was awesome, but the Cape was a television show. Now it was a fictional superhero show, but basically the plan was that a guy, I believe it was a cop, his son had a comic book collection of a superhero, fictional superhero. I guess all superheroes are fictional, but of a superhero called the Cape. And there was a guy in this all black and a cape and a mask, almost like Zorro-like, and he's a superhero. So doing a routine, thing. If I remember correctly, I believe he was set up by the people in his police office, in his precinct. He was set up, and they tried to kill him, and it didn't work. So people thought he was dead, but he actually wasn't, and he wanted revenge. So he set out and he found this like circus performer, right? And this circus performer, for some magically reason, had a cape, a magical cape that he could help him do magical tricks and everything like that. And he had all of that. and I think one of the bad guys was Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones, you know, you know Vinnie Jones when I see him. You know, he's been on Arrow. He was in the Stone Cold Steve Austin movies, The Condemned. Vinnie Jones, you guys know him when I'm talking about. You know, if you Google him, you'll know him. And he was like this scaly. He had like leather, like alligator or lizard skin on his face or something. And he was like the big bad, and he was like that. And I think and actually, now that I think about it, the police might have been trying to catch him. That's what it was. The police might have been trying to catch him. Guys, don't get mad at me. I'm 35 years old and old as hell. My brain ain't working like it used to. So so these things are coming back as I remember, as I talk about it. And he was trying to, and he was trying to get Vinnie Jones, and then Vinnie Jones killed him. Or at least he thought he did. And then he went back and he found the circus before him, and he found that magical cape, and he said he's going to be a superhero like his son, the Cape. And he did all the training and everything like that. He found a lair. I don't know how he found a lair. What he did, he found a lair somewhere, and he trained, and he became the Cape. And the show was awesome. And they canceled it way too early. And I remember to the fact that on Comcast they decided to upload one of the final shows to On Demand. And one of the final shows on Demand was actually the guy having his wife and kids there, and he had, and he was, being he was trying to be the Cape, but there goes his wife and his kid was there, and he had to save his wife and kid. It's probably on YouTube somewhere, the Cape. I need to see if I can actually watch it, because now I gotta see if it's up there. So, oh yeah, so it is great list. This is bringing back good old great conversation. And so yes, once again, go subscribe to List 25 if you're not already done it. As you can see, they do great shit over there, and I love them for it. So post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. Are there any shows that they forget? Are there any shows that I'm missing? What other shows that you think could be, oh my living Jesus. Wow. I've been up all night. I could not sleep. I've been up all night, and this thing woke me the fuck up. I tell you that. So yes, here we go. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out. Fuck yeah.